Hello and welcome to the second episode of Personally Speaking, K2's new podcast series. I'm Emma Kerslake, Global Client Experience Manager at K2 Corporate Mobility, and in each episode I'll be sitting down with the people behind K2 who bring our Because It's Personal ethos to life. So during this episode I'm joined by James and Shelley from our marketing team, and we'll be focusing on what it means to run a highly successful in-house marketing agency by leading a high-performing team and providing an exceptional experience to clients. Guys, can I just ask you both to spend a couple of minutes introducing yourself and also take us through the journey that led you to K2?
No pressure.
Off you go, James.
You go first. Shall I go first?
Go for it.
Well, the journey that led me to K2, I have always been creative. My sort of journey here started actually as a creative relationship with K2. I was fortunate enough to meet Nick, I can't remember how many years ago now, it was actually during lockdown. And the company that I worked with previously, we designed this space, our sort of UK office, which was a really cool experience to go through. And sort of one of the things that I always took in that role was I chose to try and make it my business to really understand a business's brand, their values, what made them tick. And I think that's probably what set us aside from our competitors. Like, fast forward all the way to delivering the project, and I remember sitting in the lounge space with Nick, and he sort of said to me, "What have we done here?" Because we watched all of the K2 people, now my colleagues, sort of wander around the space with like just awe, and their experience, their connectivity with K2 and the brand and the business that they work with was like, in that moment, appeared to Nick certainly, had changed. Obviously I hadn't experienced it before because I didn't know the people prior to that, or I met someone. And I remember at that point thinking, this is such a cool company that I want to be part of it. Somehow I want to be part of the K2 brand. I didn't know how at that point in time. And like months went past. I think almost a year went past. And then I got a call from Nick to say, "Would you like to join the business?" And I didn't really need to think too much about that. And the task was, he said, "We need to build a global brand." And I said, full transparency, I've never built a global brand before. He said, "That's okay, neither have I." So here we are. And we're just giving it our best shot. So yeah, that's kind of my journey. 2
years down the line, we're about to hit
nearly 2 years.
Yeah, not far off your work anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Great 2 years.
4th of July. Yeah, absolutely. Some mad stuff that we've been doing, right? We've been some really cool stuff, some like high pressure stuff, some fly by the seat of our pants stuff. I mean, we'll probably come on to talk about this, but the team now, where we're at with the team now, like, I could speak for myself. I think you'd agree. Like, the sort of the battleship that we have now is insane. It's absolute powerhouse. It's really cool to be part of. Anyway, your turn.
Cool.
Sorry, I think that's supposed to be like 1 minute or something. I'm sorry, I just got carried away, as usual.
And just to jump in, for those of you who don't know, James is our Global Marketing Director.
Yeah, that's it. No pressure.
All right, Fab, Shelley, on to you. So your title
I'm Shelley.
experience.
I'm Global Marketing Manager here at K2. I've been with the business now for just over 6 years. My background was predominantly digital marketing. I had worked in various much larger organisations and become a very small cog in a very big wheel for a very long time. Met with Nick, and the challenge was start a marketing department.
It all starts with Nick, doesn't it?
Yeah, always starts with Nick. So yeah, that led to 6 years of complete discovery, innovation, development, team builds. I mean, the list is endless of all the things that we've managed to create over that time. But seeing the business develop from even back when I started, I was employee number 73.
Wow.
We're now...
We must be like 373 now.
Yeah, pushing 400.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Watching all the offices open, seeing how the business, deals with environmental impacts and crisis such as the pandemic, and how the business responded to that by opening 2 new offices, Brazil and France. It's a very different place to work, And I think whilst I have been here some time, it's you just keep that dedication up, because this family that we're a part of is forever changing, and the innovation and the growth and the drive and the goals and the passion just keep coming, and you can't measure any of that. It's a real family.
It's mad that you call it family as well, right? Because I know in previous experiences, and I've seen like a lot on social media and stuff like that when a business tries to convince its workforce that you're part of a family, like often it's really trying to leverage, it's trying to connect with like a human emotion that we need something, we need a family, but often it's just a thing.
It's a bit of a smoke screen.
Yeah, it's a cover, right? Yeah. It's something people say, right? But actually, genuinely, like just like loving the people that you work with. Like we see more of each other, even though we're not in the office 5 days a week, as most companies aren't, right? We still broadly see more of each other, certainly in the working day with teams and everything like that, than we do our own families, right? You know, that's the crazy reality of working life. So to be part of something where it does really make that, it fills that gap and it's genuine. Yeah, that's cool.
It's a good job we all get on, hey?
Well,
the amount of time that we have to spend with each other. Good job we all get on.
Yeah, that's it.
Most definitely. Yes.
So I've got a few questions for you both. James, I want to start with you. So how are K2 pushing the boundaries within their marketing and redefining that traditional corporate image that a lot of kind of global relocation businesses have?
I think, so one of the things, it's an interesting one, right? Because one of the things I was always taught when you're considering marketing and you're considering branding is to know your competition, right? And that makes sense, but it can be quite dangerous as well, because there's a comfort blanket in that. So you could look at your competition and you could go, right, they're doing X, Y, and Z, so we should do X, Y, and Z, and then we're competitive. But actually, I think that K2, not just within the marketing team, but broadly as a business, like we talked about the family, so every individual brings their own thing. Like we're striving, we're pushing, we're trying to push those boundaries. We have in our one of our meeting rooms, embrace failure is sort of one of our mantras, if you like. And when you say those words, it's really easy to just go embrace failure. Cool, so it's okay if I get stuff wrong. But actually, the concept behind that is the empowerment to say, be brave to make mistakes. Like as human beings, broadly, we only learn through mistakes. When you look at how you bring up children, the safety piece is to try and avoid them making like bad mistakes, like crossing the road in front of a car, right? But actually, as human beings, that embracement of failure is really important. So I think, certainly from my perspective, I learned probably on like day 2 at K2. In fact, I probably knew it before we even started, because we built this place in lockdown and all of that sort of stuff, that there's this almost this vein, this thread of, I'm going to call it like a thread of destruction in K2, which is we want, not destruction, maybe disruption. We want to really take what the norm is, understand our client base, understand the humans involved in that, and say, what works for us? What works for the K2 business? What works for the K2 people? And what gets the best out of our client base? The other sort of saying we have is growth without compromise. And I think that plays quite nicely in hand with embrace failure, because it adds parameters to it. We're not going out and just failing at everything and going, well, that didn't work, let's try another thing, that didn't work. There's substance to it, But I think broadly, the creativity that we push externally as a business is also pushed internally as a business. It's really important for everyone within the K2 business to understand the brand, our values, what our goals are, to understand the tagline of because it's personal, what does it mean to you? Yeah. To me, to you. What does it, where does your personal experience come in? And I think if I look back at everything that we've done to date, and we continue to do, we're planning to do, that comes in bucket loads. We really we're moving into a sort of an exercise now where we're wanting to bring the extraordinary people of K2 into the spotlight to showcase them, because we're so fortunate. You know, if it's just under 400 people, there's 3 of us here, so there's like 390 something colleagues of ours that are pretty damn cool at what it is that they do. You know, whether it be finance, whether it be you know, relocation, whether it be marketing, sustainability, supply chain, whatever. Like, we are all pretty cool at what it is that we do, and that makes life easy. Actually, it really does. From a marketing perspective, the whole work's done for us. Yeah, because everyone out there is doing it for us. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we might be biased, but I think we've got some of the best.
Like,
some of the best personalities, like, some of the best people. They're just fantastic.
And I think, you know, the success of any business actually broadly is you've got to build that business on the strength of the people within. And going back to the family comment and that sort of smoke and mirrors, and that's just not a thing at K2. Yeah, it's just not. It is genuine, and that genuine love for the job then translates into a genuine love for caring for our clients and their assignees and those individuals that, you know, I've never relocated myself. I don't think you haven't relocated. You haven't relocated, right? That process of like upping sticks, moving everything that you know into a new country, a new culture, if you've got kids, if like all of that stuff, new job, that can be really stressful, you know? So to understand that and to understand those pain points, that is something else that we're really trying to humanize, like in our marketing and how we communicate and how we connect with the industry, the clients, with the business. I hope that answered the question. I felt like
a great answer.
No. I think it's also just looking at that key differentiator of, because it's personal. You know, if you know, spend an afternoon just sitting with the relocation managers, and you know, they genuinely treat every single assignee as a member of their family. You know, if the worst were to happen and something were to get lost, they are on it. They are trying to, you know, it is as if they are moving a member of their family, and that's how much they care. And when you've got that as your kind of centre of excellence, and that's what you're delivering on, it as you said, it really does make marketing that easy, because like I said, there's no smoke and mirrors to that. We are telling our, you know, human stories that people can relate to.
It's mad though, because it's not hard, right? Just be a human and just think about how others, like what others are going through, and just, you know, if I was in that situation, what help would I need? And what? It's mad, right? It's
because for us, it's more than a job.
Yeah,
some people see it as a job, but for us, we do get invested. We care so much. Yeah. And I think that's what makes us different.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah. So on the topic of people, I want to think a little bit about our people. So a question for you, Shelley. How does this kind of new and dynamic way that we think, how does that attract and retain the right talent into K2?
Good question.
Cool.
I think when you stand out as a brand, as we do, and I think one of the things we've been guilty of in the past is kind of hiding our light a little bit, and we're stepping out into that light now. And I think we have, through our networks, been able to get the right people into the business, get our experts in line, and really develop, you know, services that people really need, and that, you know, really help our sort of clients' businesses thrive. And from a sort of attraction perspective now, we've gone through this whole process of, you know, as I said, this area of growth, you know, this time of growth that we've gone through. But again, it's all really deeply considered. Everything is thought through. And the one thing at the centre of all of that growth is our culture. If we lose that, we lose what makes us special, which means we fail as a business. Therefore, we will, you know, that then affects everybody. So not just current employees, but future employees as well. And I think, you know, when I talk to people outside of K2 and I say, oh, you know, we're doing a kinetic conference, we're taking 240 people to Barcelona, we're doing this, you know, all of the things, you know, we have an amazing benefits scheme, we have, you know, the kinetic plan. There are so many things where this business gives back to every single employee that's here. And again, just having that feeling of belonging and that sense of passion and drive, and that you're surrounded by like-minded people, it's that for me is where that kind of talent retention comes in, because you truly value and appreciate who you have by your side. And for me, the second that goes, that's when the sparkle will leave. And that is why this growth without compromise is so important and so key for us, because without our people,
it's smart though, isn't it? Because again, like for me, it's like, why is this difficult to work out? If you look after the people that are delivering the service, providing the guidance, the logistics, whatever it may be, if you look after those people and they feel really comfortable to make brave decisions sometimes, and they feel empowered and they feel like they're part of something bigger, then they'll just simply do a better job like that. That's why we've got Great Place to Work, which links directly to Net Promoter Scores of 80 and all of that sort of stuff. Like, there's a direct link between client satisfaction and employee satisfaction. And that is cast iron. There's direct links between those two, and I think it's simple, right?
It feels that way, but I think from experience, I think we've all worked in businesses where you don't feel that it's said, but you don't feel it. Whereas the difference is here, you genuinely feel that, and it's the way the business definitely makes you feel as you step through the door. Whether you are an employee, whether you're a visitor, whether you're visiting from another country, all of those things. And for us, we all felt like this was a great place to work. Going through that accreditation, and ticking those boxes and all of that, it was just us being able to, again, shine a light on that. Is that we don't just take this culture for granted. This is core for us. This is exactly where we're meant to be.
You have to work at it as well.
Yeah.
Actually, because it's one thing to acknowledge it, but I think one thing we can, like you mentioned, like we've got a great benefit scheme, all of that sort of stuff, right? Like that business investment back in the people, because it recognises again that the people are the product, the people are the service that's been provided to clients. Like, that is continual investment. New things come up, social changes, blah blah blah. It's really, really important that they keep a finger on the pulse of that sort of stuff. Because the moment again that you just sort of go, we've got that bit nailed. Guess what? You probably haven't 5 minutes later.
It's also giving people what they really want. I've seen some stuff on LinkedIn, and it's like, free fruit Fridays aren't going to keep anybody in a business.
Absolutely.
It's what do the people really want? You'd be straight out the door.
Do you know what I mean? Free bag of crisps Friday. Now we're talking.
But I think also just going through, obviously with the team, the marketing teams very recently, and going through the recruitment, the drive that we've just been through, it's really hard to put the K2 culture into words, which is why we developed Q, which is why we tried to put an understanding to that and what that actually meant to people. And that is something that you can talk about, but it's not until those people step foot into the business and then start living and breathing it that they realise, this is actually what's meant to be. How many times have you been for an interview and people have promised you the world, and you walk through and it's still not happening.
Free fruit Fridays.
Free fruit Fridays. It's those sorts of things. And then there's other people where they don't even get tea and coffee. It's just looking after your people is so critical, and it's just having that variety in your role, being the business offering you opportunities to get involved in almost extracurricular, where you can then become a sustainability champion, you can become a social media champion, you can join in those things that might be outside of what your kind of day-to-day is, but you've definitely, every single person here has a voice and a purpose, and that for me is critical. Completely approachable leadership. You can go to any person in the business and they will sit and listen. And that is really unique. I have worked for some really big companies where I think I've seen the CEO twice, from afar, let alone sat and had a cuppa and gone through, whatever the situation might be at the time. So it's having those connections and keeping that, and I think as the business grows, that is what is going to be imperative to keeping what makes us special.
Human
and it's just keeping that human connection.
So on that point of leadership, actually, kind of flows quite nicely into our next question. James, I want to lean on you for a little bit of advice. It is, isn't it? How amazing is that? So for those in leadership positions, what advice would you give to help them build high-performing teams that also align and fit into their company culture?
Now I'm wishing I saw the question before we began. What advice? I think, a couple of things. So I was always taught to surround myself with people that are better than me at what it is that they do. Right? I think that's really, really important from a practical perspective. My own personal experience, and shout if I've got this wrong, but I know with you guys as the marketing team, I think it's vitally important to give you the freedom to do your role, to be creative, to make your own mistakes, but to have the support that when mistakes happen, that we come together as a team, we learn, and we evolve. In fact, I was talking to Paul this morning, I mentioned it to you as well. My goal for each member of the team, actually, and it's something I set myself at the beginning of this year, is, and it's going to sound like a weird one, but this is the best way I can explain it, is the role that I do right at this moment in time, my goal is to make myself redundant at it.
Right.
If I've made myself redundant at it, it means that I've imparted my knowledge, my thinking to those around me. And we all have our part to play. So Shelley needs to make her role redundant for what she's doing today. Same with you, same with Sol, Paul, Kumba, the whole team, right? At that point, when you've made yourself redundant at that, you go to the next level and you build. So every time you go, right, I've learned that, I've imparted knowledge, maybe someone else does that, maybe I'm an expert at that, maybe I've automated that process, maybe I've refined that process right down, so something that used to take me 4 hours now takes me 4 minutes, because I've built all of the tools and it's still really, really cool, then I can apply my time and attention to the next thing. That's what allows us all to innovate. And I think, certainly within a marketing team, a creative industry, like innovation is what we all crave. But actually outside of creativity, I believe that anyone who chooses a career in a corporate environment such as K2 wants to progress. They want new challenges. They want to grow. They want to evolve. And my personal advice would be look at how, what ticks people's box, what fills their cup, make them redundant at that. Get them to a point where they can go, what's next? And at that point, you're then feeding from the bottom. And you can do that. You can empower. You can get that enthusiasm, that excitement, that innovation, that love for the job, because you feel valued, I hope. But you guys tell me, have I just said that? Be like, yeah, great. Great pattern, but that doesn't happen.
We being made redundant.
And that's just really tricky, because when you use the R word in business, you're like, did you just say
we all took a breath.
Redundant.
I mean, like, I know.
I was being slightly facetious.
Am I getting redundant? No. It's for me, it's just trying to better yourself. To and it's the best way that I can use to describe it. That it's providing that support, lots of listening. I think that's really, really important. Loads of listening. My ultimate goal, within the team is if I could just spend my days listening to you guys, hearing what you want to do, and helping facilitate that. That's my goal for my redundant role. Because my role at the moment is I'm still quite hands-on with some of the creativity because my background, and it's quite new for us, and we're innovating, we're pushing, and we're finding new ways of doing stuff, and we're breaking stuff, and we're fixing it back up again. Ultimately, if I could get to a role where I'm able to just spend time listening to you guys and then innovate on stuff that we don't even know about yet, that's a goal. Because then everyone else is leveled up.
Agreed.
No, you're not.
Thank you. I think
neither are you, Sol.
that listening piece, really represents our entire leadership team at K2 as well, because I think one of the things that make the business so successful and for everybody to sort of show up every day is that every single person in this business has a voice. They have a purpose. They know what they're here for. They know what they're doing. They know how they can affect change. And I think that's really vital to that. You know, if you're not listening to people, then you'll soon be surrounded by people that have nothing to say, because it's completely the wrong way around.
And there's two sides to that, right? Because you can listen to people. This is not about listening to people and giving someone everything that they ask. It's about guidance, and it's about really understanding. Okay, I hear you're asking for this. I don't believe you're ready for that, or the business at this moment in time, we're not geared for that. But that's really cool. Where do we get to with that? Like, how do we evolve that? How do we innovate that? You know, it's like there's no rule book. You can't. I mean, there is rule books. Don't get me wrong. There's ways and right ways of doing stuff and speaking of it. But when it talks about, again, that like evolving someone's career, their love for a job and a brand, there's no rule book with that. No. You've got to listen. It's humans dealing with humans. You know, and I'm hoping, because I haven't read the question, so I'm hoping we'll come on to this, but that transcends into then how we work with clients and how we work with their clients' assignees, right? It's listening. It's human beings working with other human beings. Again, it's not complex. I mean, humans are complex, but you can take it back to basics. Just listen.
It's easy.
You know, listen, think, do.
Yeah, 100%. So, Shelley, a question for you. Obviously, we briefly touched on the fact that we've kind of expanded our team. We've recently got 4 new members on board, which is amazing. Yeah. We've doubled in size, gone back down, tripled in size. It's been a bit of a journey.
A roller coaster.
Indeed.
So, during that time, kind of what challenges did you see within the team? And then how did you navigate those?
I'm glad this is your question.
You know, when you have changes in a team, managing change is always going to come with its own set of challenges. You've got, we had a few team members leave for very different reasons, and then also we had, you're trying to adapt to that. So you've got team members staying, you've got your core, and everyone's still trying to continue at the level that we were delivering on before. The output didn't change. The deadline stayed the same, but we just happened to be 3 team members now.
Campaign plan stayed the same.
Right? All the numbers. Yeah. The deliverables are still there. Yeah. The business still needs the support that we provide, and they are still our client. We still have to provide that. So that was a particularly tough time, I think, for everyone in the team. So it was really important at that point that we made sure that, again, everybody felt listened to, heard, took time to kind of really go through priorities, really delve into exactly what was needed. And then when we sort of started the recruitment process to sort of replace those and more, it's really trying to, that recruitment process is critical. So we know we need people on board, but we just need the right people on board. And it's that moment when someone walks through the door and you can see their skill set from their CV, and you think, this, on paper, you're perfect. And then the second they walk through the door, they suddenly start showing signs of cue. And then you've got, they've left the interview, they put their coffee cup in the dishwasher, they're having, they've had, there's all these different elements to a personality. And you can see if they're going to be a good fit for the business or not. And we were just incredibly fortunate that we met 4 amazing individuals that not only had the skill sets that we needed as a marketing team to reach the goals and ambitions that we had for this year and beyond, but also for the fact that they're amazing people. They're super talented. They're full of Q. That they're so K2. And that's where you have to be so careful, because you can't teach Q. You can teach skills, you can upskill, you can train people. You can't teach Q. That's probably the biggest challenge is finding that the right person, the right fit for the business. And I think also just the whole onboarding process is, here at K2, there's been an awful lot of time and effort put in by the ELT, our executive leadership team, where they've gone through the onboarding process and they've really made it so that they get an understanding and a grounding of the entire business. So it's not just, you're never just working in silo. It's not just, okay, you're in finance, so you're going to be doing
there's Excel,
billing, there's Excel, there's AP portal, crack on. It's more the understanding, because with that greater level of understanding becomes their purpose. And you avoid that I'm a small cog in a big wheel scenario where you're just churning out day after day after day. Whereas I think also the way that with those sort of challenges that we saw before, we learned an awful lot. And I think with that we learned, that so that we don't ever create a cog in a wheel, that everybody feels that that they're brought on board really quickly for projects, so that we have really detailed project briefings. We're working with so many people across the business, and I deem us as really fortunate for that. I think that we are, we don't work in a vacuum. We get to work with almost everyone. Single person. That's part of K2, and we get to work with our clients, and we get to work with our partners, and I think all of those things are are real drivers for us. And I think we're never gonna end up in that kind of brand bubble where we're just a marketing team that churn out brochures, because that's just not us. That's not K2. So it's adapting the way that we work. It's really looking and sort of giving people that ownership and accountability to really own their craft and to let them be creative in those areas, and to really do exactly as James said, just listen to the challenge, come up with this, together come up with a solution, evolve that, and see how it goes.
Trial.
Test. We have to test each time. So there's been quite a few sort of situations, I guess, where we have been challenged, and as I said, no one likes losing team members, but they all had their own reasons and their own ambitions, and when people are really good at what they do, you have to let them go as well.
You support those dreams.
You have to support those dreams, and you have to reward that ambition.
I think it's fair to say as well, though, what certainly for you and I, what it makes you reflect as well. If you've got an individual that's outgrown the business, that's really cool for that individual. But then we reflect and go, did we not listen? Did we not provide that redundancy to next level? Did we not give enough? And I think it's fair to say even that, because it's personal tagline, sits with us internally within the team as well. And so you learn and you adapt and you go again. I think with the team build, it's the team now is rocket ship.
It's an absolute
the
powerhouse.
Skills across the board are just unbelievable.
And I think that's where you have to put that. You have to give them the creative space, the head space, in order to create, and develop, next level marketing collateral that we have, and it's working.
God, we're boasting a lot of our abilities, though,
We're now going to have to deliver even more so.
Look at us.
Look, even if you look across our socials over the last 2 months, you will see a huge difference
Video,
in style,
digital
video,
presence.
the creativity. All of the things we've been involved in, client presentations, RFPs, everything we're delivering.
God, that's a big door because our heads are like.
Right?
But remember, James, we're not talking about us. We're talking about the team.
No, I know.
Well,
high five to you.
Yeah.
On that point of delivering, I want to kind of move us over and slightly look at client experience. So obviously this is something that we're putting a huge focus on, always have done, but I think now we're driving it to the next level. So James, I kind of want to find out from you, what do you think makes the key components of a great client experience?
In the most basic forms, like I said before, knowing that you're dealing with human beings. We talked this morning, actually. My personal opinion of it is that we are here to make our clients look amazing. We're taking a small part of their role. If it's someone in HR, for example, mobility will be a small part of their role. We're taking that pain away. we are making them look amazing, and the way in which we do that is that we understand that we're dealing with human beings. And I've talked a lot recently of sort of this human-centric approach to mobility. For me, it's more than a buzzword. Like, I can say it with confidence because I know we're already doing it. We have an interesting concept within the business that we have what we know as K2 corporate mobility, but we also have K2 bespoke.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it can be tricky to distinguish the difference between the two, right? Because you go, well, K2 bespoke is a real sort of white glove service, and it's a one-to-one service, and you start to describe and you go, that's everything that we do. And there are absolute important nuances between the two, lower caseloads, all of that sort of stuff. I'm not here to pitch the difference between the two of those. We get them and we talk about them. But whether it's K2 bespoke, whether it's K2 corporate mobility, whether it's Alpha Tech technology team, whether it's the K2 Foundation, human centricity is at the heart of everything that we do.
Yeah.
And understanding that we are dealing with humans. We are humans. We're very fortunate. We've got a lot of humans that have in the business that have been relocated, so they get the nuances, the pain points, the challenges. We've got a number of people in the business that have come from client side. That's really helpful because, again, they know what it's like to work with a reload company. But in direct answer to your question, I think really understanding the human side of things.
Yeah.
And when we're doing that, that then is not just about human interactions. It's about, when we're thinking about technology, is that technology shouldn't be there to replace human beings. It should be there to enhance the human being offering. It should be there to provide our K2 people with fast, to the point information whereby they can help an assignee quicker.
Yeah.
It's to provide the client with up-to-date information so they can get a picture of what we're doing quicker. So it enhances the human experience by providing speed and a degree of automation, but not to replace a human. If I then take that into the marketing stuff that we do, so either ends of the spectrum, I've got technology and marketing. For us to know how we're talking to an audience, you and I spend ages like scratching our heads. How are we going to connect with potential future K2 clients? How are we going to stand out from the crowd? How are we going to connect with them and just get a conversation with them? Yeah. Every time it leads back to, how are we going to make this one human talking to another? We talk about learning to walk before we run. We talk about making them look amazing. We talk about knowledge sharing, giving them information, empowering them to make decisions, pressure test their mobility program, all of this stuff, right?
We'll also connect with each other, like our LinkedIn group.
Yeah,
K2 Connect.
Because knowing that we're not an island, right? So if I'm client side and I might work for company A, but I would probably benefit from understanding what company B and C are up to,
Definitely.
And that knowledge share, for me personally, transcends like commercial arrangements. It's really about embarking on a program and a process. With anything that we do, we're just trying to make something better. It feels like a seamless thing to talk about K2 Foundation, but it is really about just striving to make experiences better, however we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice answer. So I want to wrap this up and end on a high. I did have another couple of questions for you, but I think, to be honest, we've touched on. I'm ready to go.
I've got 3 more questions, but you know what?
Got a meeting in 15, so I'm going to end this on a high. I want to ask you both, what has been your most memorable moment throughout your whole time at K2?
Can I have 2 memorable moments?
You can.
I think I might share one.
I think we do share.
Okay.
So I think that might be the first one. Might be the same. So for me, it was the Kinetic conference out in Barcelona. Yeah, is the number one. Epic, absolutely epic. A real challenge, but an amazing conference. And that, I think, anyone at K2 that was there will stay with them for some time, I think. There was something really unique and special about bringing everybody from every single office.
And we
together.
will say, I'm so sorry to those that weren't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're sick and tired of hearing
Yeah,
that.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you continue with Barcelona. But for me, the second point was really getting that seal of approval and getting that accreditation from Great Place to Work. That is something that I was incredibly passionate about, and something that I truly believe that, you know, we were a great place to work globally. And then for us to sort of go through that questionnaire, go out to the business, even just to get, it sounds really dark, but just to get the engagement levels that we had with the survey, and having these calls with Great Place to Work where they're saying, well, normally we get sort of around 50% of, you know, completion rate. We were up at 97%. The rest of the people were out of the business, either on maternity leave or long-term leave or something else. So just for us people to be willing to take part, just that was a huge step forward. And then just over the 2 weeks as the results were coming back in globally and seeing it for every single K2 location, Great Place to Work, Great Place, you know, all these stamps of approval. And, you know, being able to take those metrics and the feedback that had come through from those surveys and again affect change. So being able to make sure that, you know, we're looking into work-life balance, that we're looking into making sure people feel heard, that we're really addressing those things that really matter to people, and actually being able to take that and make that a reality. So we will be doing that again this year.
98% response rate this year.
100%, James, 100%.
100%, that's it. We'll be knocking on the door.
I'll be hunting people down. But that was incredibly rewarding. And I think one of the things, you know, if people take the time to go and have a look, we've actually published a lot of those responses as well. So it's completely anonymous, but being able to read through and see what people actually genuinely feel about the business was amazing. A real feel good factor at that point. And an incredible high. And I think that was felt by every single person throughout the business.
Yeah, and has she covered it? Has she covered your memorable moment? Then again, Barcelona.
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona's an obvious one. It was funny because while you were talking, I was like, there's so many.
There are a lot.
I mean, Barcelona was standout, what felt like once in a lifetime opportunity. A genuine fingers crossed. I hope it's not. I hope we do it again.
Yeah, I do too.
I think even when I think back to like, how long did we have? Like 8 weeks to plan it.
8 weeks.
It was like, it was just so cool, so exciting. Like the whole thing from start to finish. That was cool. I think a couple of other highlight moments for me personally, the school that we're building in Brazil. Like I was super fortunate to go to visit what is the current school, and just to witness like front row seat a thought process of we can do something here to help. That is maddening. I remember just thinking like I work for a business that is not just about profit line.
Yeah.
It's not just about us. It's not just about our clients or our service or our technology. It's like it's about so much more.
Yeah.
And when I think about the school in Brazil and all of the other work that we're doing, you guys going to Nepal and all of that stuff, like
that's my memorable moment.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
By the way, I get why that trumps Barcelona.
Yeah.
and you're allowed to. There is actually one other really, really what seems to be a very, very simple thing that actually sticks in my mind. And I was really, really fortunate. The work that I did designing this space with Nick, I was able to sort of muscle my way into helping the Houston office realise what it is to create a K2 office. And I worked closely with Phil and the guys to bring that to reality. And I was there the day that it opened, and like seeing the faces of the people that have worked in the business for quite a while, and it's like, wow. But there was one thing that Phil Hunt went, and it blows my mind, even just like there's a lump in my throat just thinking about it. I was very fortunate enough to get taken to a Houston Astros game when I first went over to Houston, which was brilliant, and I've followed them ever since. Phil Hunt went out and bought a Houston Astros shirt that now hangs in the Houston office, and it has my name on the back of it. And he said that it's an acknowledgement of the hard work that went into delivering the vision that was everything that we understand of the K2 brand, putting it into a real world perspective. And that still, Barcelona, amazing. Nepal, wish I was there, fantastic, great place to work, of course. That one human act that was just, again, that simple thing that he did will stay with me till the day I forget that I've eaten breakfast.
Let's hope that day never comes.
And I'm having my second breakfast. Like that is a real representation, and more importantly, that is a board member. You start from top down. That is a board member that did that, and that personally for me, like, blows my mind. Blows my mind.
And I think we're really fortunate because we do have those moments, you know, and I think that appreciation and that general looking out for one another as well. We're fortunate that becomes part of our daily existence here. You know, genuinely, if you know, having a particularly bad day or whatever, and someone just goes and gets your lunch for you, or someone just gives you a hug.
Is that why you keep buying me lunch?
No. I think you need to
doesn't want to be made redundant.
I don't want to be made redunddant. Do you need lunch?
Buy me another ham and cheese sandwich. Will be okay.
Loves a cold meal. But yeah, but I think it genuinely is. It's just really that looking out for each other. I think those and I think for me, it's moments, and it does catch me every now and again when I look around the team and there's now 9 of us. And I remember it when it was me and Nick desperately trying to build a website, go through a rebrand, do as much and now when I sort of sit there and I sit there with all of you, it does. It's you see how far you've come. And
so do you know what's interesting? You say there's 9 of us, and there is obviously headcount wise, there's 9 people in the team, but actually I think that's one of the evolutions that's happened since we've tried to innovate and push. That there feels like there's this extended marketing team. So and golly, I was about to start name dropping, and I know that I'll name drop and I'm going to miss some, and but you got that, like, they know who they are, and they're everywhere. Actually, they're in Houston, 100%. They're in Singapore, they're in Paris. I'm starting to name drop countries now, and I'm going to miss some, but every single country, like. That we are so fortunate that we have not just board members, but like this tidal wave of support.
Definitely.
Trust behind everything that we do, and that makes the marketing team bigger than just 9 people.
Oh yeah.
It probably makes
pushing
it
400.
300. That's it. 97 or whatever. It's and every individual in K2 is the best. Is the best marketing tool for us. Absolutely. To go out and talk with pride about everything that we write about, that we film, that we record podcasts.
Which is why we brand them all.
That's why we brand them all.
Loads of merch.
Who doesn't love a bit of swag?
K2 rucksack.
That's it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me for this
Thank
podcast.
You're welcome.
If anyone's listening is keen to find out more, head over to our K2 website and look out for episode 3 coming soon.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
So are we done now? We're going to do the real thing now.